I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report. Up around here and close to San Antone Bay, just on the edge of San Antone Bay here at False Live Oak Point, you see the rocks that are all out here on this area that goes around that protects all this stuff. They put all that riprap in there to help protect the islands and stuff. Well, there's been a bunch of trout that's been hanging along there. There's been a few black drum that's been hanging along there. Scattered redfish or two will come in and out of there. The one thing that's been pretty consistent with this has been the Magic Grass Supermodel and the Chicken of the Sea Supermodel. They've rigged both of those up with weedless setups, 1/8 jig heads, or the offset weight on there, should I say, and just bouncing those things off those rocks and letting them fall. And those trout, a few redfish, black drum, even like I say, they're hitting these baits that are all in that area. They're bouncing off those rocks. The bait are hanging in and out of that area. Water's been fairly clear up here. It's not been that super tea-stained stuff like it's been everywhere else for a while. The clarity's starting to get really good. Work inside the rocks. Get on the inside of it and do the same thing. You can wade that. A little soft. Be careful with it if you're going to jump out there and do that. You get a little protection that's here on the back side of this island here. And then, of course, you get up close to the island. You can do all that wading up around there. That's all pretty good bottom in that. Again, working the Supermodel. The other thing that's been really good, too, that's been pretty consistent up in here has been the burner shad in this area. Been throwing the Soft Dine XL in here, too, just to give it just a different look. The Pearl Harbor with the gold side mimics that what a croaker would look like. Obviously, it doesn't have the sound, but it does have the knockers that are inside of that. So when you're working that bait in that semi-clear water or off-color water all up in this area, it's become a really effective bait with the other two. Just continue to work these areas here, and you'll find some nice trout and redfish that are all hanging up in this area. All down here in Paul's Mott, all the way up here to the point, Big Island there, back, all the way down to Long Reef Bend. All these little back lake mouths that have been dumping out in here. Again, we had some inundation with water when the hurricane was hitting over there in Florida, so we had a bunch of higher tides. Now all that stuff has kind of dropped back out, and we've kind of leveled back out on our tides. So when you're paying attention to your tide levels, these areas here become really important because you can get in front of those back lake mouths and work those. There's been a good amount of black drum that's been working in and out the Fence Lake area, around the Paul's Mott area, all those back lake mouths that come around into the Long Reef Bend area. Little John has been very effective with that. And the down south regular version has caught some black drum on that as well. They will eat those. Of course, with the MirrOlure, you've got the infusion of scent that's in that helps that part of it for them. And then, of course, the down south regular mollusk just got a lot of flash that's on there that they will react to that. And another bait that's been tried and true over years and years and years, redfish love them. It's the good old gold spoon. So if you don't have any of those or don't want it, man, you can tie on a gold spoon and you can go to work with that thing. It may take you a little while to locate your fish or get your fish, but you will get them. So you can work all this area up here close to the shoreline, about 100 yards, 150 yards out, working your spoon. Working those down south, working the Little John MirrOlures. The black drum, again, have been in here, and they have been eating those. The scattered redfish here and there, you have found some of those. Trout have been pretty good on that as well, off on the deeper edge. Again, when you're looking for those, if you're going to, with the tea-stained water that's in this area, you're going to want to try to find that bottom water column of around 2 to 5 feet, and that's where these trout have been hanging off of that edge of the grass all up in this area. All the way down here off the point of the Swan Lake shoreline, down here as you're heading down to Port Bay, this drop area, it's always I like this area a lot because you've got deeper water access, especially right now for this particular reason. So we're getting into mid-July, headed toward August. It's going to get hotter. Water temps are coming up. The one thing that's great about this is you have the shallower water that's back behind you here, and then you've got the deeper water edge that's out in front of you. So you can walk and wade this whole area here. There's scattered shell in this area. You got great grass that's in this area. Water clarity is going to come back. It's going to happen. We'll get that trout green water back here for too long. But what happens is these fish will be up in here in the shallow water early. So if you're out early in the day and you're going to fish the full day, if you only have one day to fish or a couple of days to fish and you want to do this, is get up here early, find that shallow water, find your fish that are up in here in that thigh deep or less water early, working your topwater bait. You'll find some nice trout in here. You'll find some flounder that are working up here, not necessarily for your topwater, but throwing a plastic as well. Or soft dine, working those potholes all up in this area here around the shell that's in there that's scattered around. But as the day progresses and that water temp starts to get hotter, the sun rises, these fish are going to start retreating to that deeper water. So you've got it right there close to you. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. You get the flat water, shallow water early. You get the deeper water later in the morning or later in the day even. So you can catch these fish pretty much well into the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock hour if you so choose to. What's happening right now is they're really that bite's starting to taper off around 10:30. It starts getting hot and these fish are gone. So here's really a great area to take advantage of. Fish that drop, fish that edge. The trout been hanging off on the deeper edge of it. When it gets hot, they're in that 3 to 5 foot range of water. Early in the morning, you have great opportunity throwing your topwater up there. Shallow water, look for your bait work in these areas, and you'll have a pretty productive day. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.